We are at the Barcelona North bus station right now and getting ready to board our bus to Llivia, Catalonia, Spain. Not Llívia. We mentioned to some people a few weeks ago that we were going to visit Llivia, and they said, "You're going to Llívia?" No, not Llívia. Llivia. And Llivia is a town of about 1,500 people. It is actually in France, but it is Spanish. We'll give you a little bit more information about that in a little bit, but it's a fascinating place. It is completely landlocked by France, and there is a 6-kilometer road between the northern Spanish border and the French border that is a neutral zone. So we're going to be going through the neutral zone to get to Llivia, where we'll be spending the night. We'll give you some more information shortly. Well, we're in Llivia right now.
Llívia?
No, not Llívia, Tanya. Llivia.
Oh, okay.
Double L-I-V-I-A. Llivia. And this town is really interesting. It's really cute. And I'm going to give you a little bit of the backstory about this place. We are in France, but this town is in Spain. There is a 6-kilometer neutral zone that runs from the border of France to Llivia, which is here in France. It is surrounded by France, but it is a Spanish town. But you actually shouldn't say Spanish, because the 1,500 people who live here, they don't consider themselves Spanish, and they don't consider themselves French. They are Catalonian, and they proudly fly the Catalonian flag. They just like to be by themselves. The the whole story about this town is really interesting.
Here comes the car.
The reason that it is where it is and that it is still under Spanish control, even though it's in France, is that in 1659, got that, 1659, there was a treaty between the King of France and the King of Spain to decide where the border in the Pyrenees was going to be between the two countries, because they had been squabbling and fighting for years and years and years. And what they decided was that every village north of the Pyrenees would be in France, and every village south of the Pyrenees would be in Spain. Well, that went just fine, except the Llivians didn't quite go along with that, and so a year passes or so, and the King of France is saying, "Mon Dieu, how come you are still here? You are here in France, but you are supposed to leave." And the King of Spain said, "No, I think you've got this wrong. The treaty says that every village north of the Pyrenees will go to France, but this is not a village. This is a town." Oh my God, the king, so they decided it wasn't worth going to war over, and it is a town, and ever since 1659, it's continued to be this way. The Llivians also had a point in that their town was the capital of Saranya, which was its own region and own kingdom for a long, long time. And so how could Saranya possibly be French? That just doesn't make any sense. So that's what it is. That's why we're here, and we just braved a rainstorm. It's just a fabulous place. I'll show you where we're staying here. We're staying in this building, this old building here, and we're up at the top floor, and we'll do a little bit more exploring a little bit later. Well, here in the center of Llivia is they call the Casa de la Villa, and it's the City Municipal Museum. And inside the same building is this old pharmacy, which is the oldest still operating pharmacy in Europe. And it's been operating since 1415. So there's I hope they refresh their drug expirations in there. But other than that, it's amazing. So as you come into the Municipal Museum here in Llivia, here is a picture of some of the townspeople, which apparently they find it just absolutely hilarious that they're in France, but they're certainly Catalonian. So here's some of them here. They're just pleased as punch. We're at the entrance to St. Bernard's Church, which is the main church here in Llivia. And above the main door here, it says 1617. So this has been here quite a while. I would encourage you to come to Llivia, regardless of how old you are, just because of its uniqueness. To get here from Barcelona, you take the bus. It's about 3.5 hours. It's about $25 per person US dollars. And it was a very pleasant ride in a touring type bus. You should be in fairly good condition, physical condition, to really enjoy Llivia because it's built on a hillside. There's lots of little streets and alleyways and so forth, and you are up in the Pyrenees, and so it's about I understand about 1,000 meters above sea level, which is about 3,000 feet, which isn't terribly high, but if you haven't been used to it, if you're going up and down these hills, you'll feel it. We have never seen hedges quite like this. These are so well manicured. I mean, they've been given a flat top and sidewalls haircut here. They're just amazing. And there are a number of them around here. It seems to be the style. There are so few people around here, and most of these, you see some of these buildings here along this street, they look like holiday homes and are all closed up. And I think it's great for skiing season, because it does get quite a bit of snow here, I understand. But you see lots and lots of houses that are all closed up here. And this place is pretty much deserted. We're staying up the hill here from the main street in Llivia. But this is the main highway that comes through here. And, it's very busy. And but here's where a lot of the services are, like grocery stores and that sort of thing. It's a lovely morning here again in Llivia, Catalonia, and we are off to Andorra, the Principality of Andorra. Now, since we are traveling by public transportation, this is not as easy or as quick as it would be if you were traveling by private car. But Tanya and I are trying to see how long and how far we can go by doing it this way. As we were having breakfast this morning at our hotel, there was another couple there from Catalonia, and they seemed quite surprised that we were going by public transportation. That, well, that's just not done, and how could you possibly do that? Well, we also noticed that yesterday on the bus coming over here, there were only we were the only people going to Llivia. There were some other people on the bus along the way, but they got off at different stops, so it's not usual. One item I'd like to mention that's kind of interesting in terms of the, I don't know what you'd call it, whether you'd call it culture wars or let's just say ongoing regional disputes in this part of Spain, this part of the Iberian Peninsula, this part of the Pyrenees, is the independent thinking of the Catalonians. And of course, Llivia, even though it's in French territory, even though it's Spanish, it is definitely Catalonian. You will see no Spanish flags here. You'll see only Catalonian flags and the independent Catalonia flag, which has the single star with it, signifying independence. Our table mates this morning explained that in the schools here, there's lots of controversy because Spanish is only taught as a second language in Catalonia. Catalan is the #1 language. And it's interesting, when we went to the museum and other places, you'll often see 4 languages written. You'll see Catalonian, you'll see Spanish, you'll see French, and then maybe as an afterthought English, but definitely at the bottom and not very often. So kind of keep that in mind when you're here. Do not ever think of this area as Spanish. That is just kind of a no-no. This is Catalonia with their own customs, their own food. They're very proud of that, the way they do things, the way they think. So just another eye-opener as you travel the world. Hey, we're on our way now, so I haven't seen our bus yet, but you know, it's going to take a few rides to get to Andorra, but we're really looking forward to that and telling you about it. So, sitting at a bus stop in Belver de Cerdanya, I just thought of something, Tanya. Everyone, I know it's dangerous. You know, all the media is talking about how this is the summer of Europe, that it's just going to be so crowded with people. It's just, you can't get, you know, make sure you have reservations for everything because it's just a big mess. Well, I'll tell you, that's not the case in the Pyrenees. Now, it could be that the reason there's nobody here is because maybe this is more of a winter destination. I think that's it, because there's a lot of skiing and, you know, second homes here that people use for those purposes. But there is a lot of hiking, and it is quite lovely, and fresh air, quiet, unless you're on the street like we are here. But you know, I don't want to encourage people to come here because then you'll spoil it. But the Pyrenees in early summer is not a bad place to be.